Hey, Will here. Thanks for coming on. So this is all about how I built basically a six-figure coaching company with the help of online boot camps. It's a case study for you, and my goal is basically to show you all this. So I cannot wait. Again, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I'm not going to waste it. So who is this for? Basically, coaches, consultants, course creators, and experts in their fields who solve a major life problem. Is this you? Then you can do this. So coaches of all kinds, consultants of all kinds, course creators of all kinds, fitness pros, doctors, lawyers, financial advisors, accountants, speakers, authors. Basically, if you're an expert in your field and you solve a major life problem, then a boot camp can work for you. Very, very well, too, mind you. You're in the right place. And we're going to cover three things today. Number one, we're going to cover how much can you make. Number two, what can you use them for, the boot camps. And number three, what is my system? That I'm going to actually show you the whole system. So first, just real quick, let me introduce myself. Will Haimerl, who am I? Well, basically you're on my website, but I'm a dad. I've got 5 daughters. I'm a husband. I'm an online coach. I started full-time coaching online in 2007. I currently have a membership site. I coach one-on-one. I've put out multiple courses over the years. I've run boot camps over the years. And PPC Coach is my coaching business. So if you Google that, you'll find me. The basic gist, I've been doing this a long time, and I'm very good at what I do. So PPC Coach is my coaching business. If you Google that, you'll find out more about it. Been around, like I said, since 2007, trained over 11,000 online marketers since then on that site, and now it's a membership site as well. Anyway, enough about me. Let us talk about you. So let's dive in. I have made a lot of money with my coaching business, like a lot. I made a really good living. I work at home full time, and I started part time in 2005. Then I went full time in 2007. So I am like a dinosaur in the online world. I'm not a young kid with no family, and this is my first business. This is not my first rodeo. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. I had some businesses fail, and basically it made me more powerful. So anyway, the key is not how much have I made. The key is how much can you make. So let's go to the sheet. And I'm going to share a copy of this with you too. This is the basic gist here. Just let me drag it over here. 1 second. There it is. Okay, I'll make this bigger so you can actually read it. And I can share a copy of this sheet with you. It's kind of a calculator for you. So let's just go make that bigger so you can actually read it. Okay, so let's say there's 2 routes. Let's say you do not have a list already, so you'll be advertising to fill up your boot camp. Now, the suggested price that I would put that is $19.97, but you can go lower, okay, which I'll get to later on in the case study. But so the price at $19.97, you might convert maybe 1% of your cold traffic. So that means you need a lot of leads. You need about 10,000 leads. Let's say it costs you $10 to get 1 lead. That's somebody who registers for a webinar in order to get on your boot camp. Now the ad cost there, so 10,000 times 10 is $100,000. You might be thinking, okay, stop there. I'm out of here. Skip, get the X, close it down. I'm not going to do this. This is crazy. No way, no how. But let's say you have a goal of 100 people. Well, if you have a goal of 100 people, then your revenue is going to be basically almost 200,000. Your lead cost is almost 100,000. Your profit's almost 100,000. Your ROI is almost 100%, which means you're doubling your money. So that means you put 100,000 in, you got 200,000 back. Your profit in your pocket is 100,000. That is amazing, right? Annually, let's say you run these like 5 times a year. We can even put this up 4 times a year. Change that. So if you run it quarterly, this is what it will work out to. Let's go like that. So let's say you run boot camp every quarter. Well, now here's your revenue numbers, almost 800,000. There's what you're going to spend on ads, 400,000. There's your profit, 400,000, $398,800. So if you're telling me, well, Will, there's no way I want to spend that. Okay, do you want this in your pocket? Then you have to spend that. Okay, this is if you do not have a list or a following to work with from the start. So if you average that out monthly, you'd be pulling in about, which is this number, your profit per month would be about $33,233.33. That's a very nice living. At this level, you're making more than basically 98% of the population, I would say, 97, 98. There's not too many people making that much per year. Okay, and you can bump that too, which I'll show you when you play with these numbers. You can bump it up. I also added a section where I said, let's say, okay, so the 100,000 scares you. You're petrified to get 10,000 leads. You know that even if you convert at 1%, you get 100 people, but that scares you. So let's say you go, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. I'm going to run some ads. I'm going to spend $5,000. Well, $5,000 spent at $10 per lead means you've got about 500 leads, which means you got about 5 sales, which means your revenue is here at 1997. Your revenue is 9,985. Your cost is 500 times that's your spend, $5,000. So your profit is there. Your ROI is the same, but look at that number compared to that number. It's just smaller. And this right here is where people start. And then eventually they get to this level. But I'm not asking you to go out and spend this much money right away. I'm saying start small. Maybe if you even say, okay, that's even too high, man. I can't do that. Let's cut that in half. So let's say you spend $2,500. Well, now you're still making money, right? That's assuming a 1% conversion rate. Now let's say you can get that conversion rate up a little bit, so we can play with these numbers a little. Let's say we go to 1.5%. Look at how the numbers change. Your ROI goes up dramatically. Your profit goes up dramatically from a 0.5% conversion rate increase. Amazing, right? This is what you can do. This is the power of these boot camps. Now let's say you have a list. So you have a following, you have an email list already, and you're saying, I want to run a boot camp for my list. My list is, say, 3,000 people, which is a pretty small list, honestly. And let's say you can convert 2.5% of those into a boot camp at 1997. That's 75 people. That is $149,000 profit just sitting there in your email list. Okay, let's say you're like, well, I don't think I can convert 2.5. Let's go down to half of that. There you go. Okay, it is amazing how much you can do. And if this number scares you too, that's fair. But there's no need to be scared because you're providing a ton of value in solving a major life problem that would cost them a lot more if they didn't follow your advice and didn't follow what you did. And again, if you're on that 4 times a year, there's your profit per year. Okay. Now I know that on my list, it converts about 4.5%. So this is what my conversion rate is for my list. And I have about 7,000 people. Actually, I think it's 7,800 because I just cleaned it. So there's my numbers that I can do, just running that 4 times a year on a 1997 one. So anyway, big numbers scare people, so let's move that back down. And let's go down. Let's say you have 2,500 people on your list. There you go. Let's say you have 1,000 people on your list. There you go. If you have a list of 1,000 people, and you can get 12 and a half people, well, I guess you can't get half a person, but 12 people to sign up, that's what you're going to make per bootcamp. That's going to be your salary per year. So you're basically at 6 figures. Let's just get that to 6 figures. There you go. 1.26 conversion rate. You're making 25,000 a bootcamp. Now you're at 100,000 per year. Is that more reasonable? That's a tiny list. That is a super low conversion rate, and that is a good price there. Now let's say you're like, well, I don't want to charge that much. I'm a little bit scared. Let's lower that to 2.5 or 497. And now let's say as soon as you lower the price, your conversion rate is going to go up. So let's say you get it up to 7% now. There you go. So you get 70 signups. Oops. I love Google Sheets because watch this. Undo. Now you've got 34,790 coming in. There's your annual. Just crazy. Let's go up here too and say, okay, I'm at 497. Now I've got to get my lead costs up there, or my conversion rate up, which is going to go up dramatically. Let's say it's at 5%. Because it is a lower cost. So now you need 2,000 leads. You pay $10 per lead. The ad cost is $20,000. Cost per conversion is $200. So you have 100 people in there. You're pulling in $49,700. You spent $20. There's your profit. There's your profit per year. So this calculator is it's really fun to play with because you can plug in whatever you want and it works very, very well. So let's say I'm going to reset these numbers. And then I will share this with you guys. I'll send it out in an email as a follow-up to this. So let's say that there we go. And let's say that is just putting reasonable numbers in here that you can start with. Let's say 3,000. Oh, that's going to be a percentage. There we go. Okay. So now you've seen kind of what you can make. I hope that kind of gets you excited. Pretty cool, right? I think so. Boot camps are awesome. You could run one a year, you could run two a year, you could run in every quarter, you could run 3 year, 5 year, you could run every month if you really wanted to. But I like this style because if I run them quarterly, then I run one, then I basically have 2 months to like chill out. And then I run one, then I have 2 months to chill out. Then I run one, then I have 2 months to chill out. It's a very nice lifestyle. So boot camps, what can you use these for is probably the next question that you guys have, which I do not blame you. You can use them for this. Basically, there's multiple uses, but you can use them to build an email list, which is vital. You can use them to monetize an existing list if you have one. You can use them to sell more courses. You can use them to sell high ticket programs. You can use them to sell one-on-one coaching. You can use them to fill a membership site. Now, that's what I do quite a bit. I do run a membership site and I fill it with my email list and my boot camps and everything else, and it works very, very, very well. So you basically, the whole gist is this: you want to be able to get more clients by using boot camps, and there are more uses too that I've probably missed here that you might come up with. They have multiple uses because they do one thing very, very well, and that one thing is, you got to think of this: who do people buy from? They buy from people that they like, they know, and they trust. So boot camps accomplish this. People get to like, know, and trust you, which means they will buy from you. Let's move on to the last part now. What does this whole thing look like? So I'm about to show you my whole system, and this was built over the years, and I perfected this system, and all I basically do is replicate it every time I'm basically doing a boot camp. So it's super easy for me. It might be a little complicated for you, but don't be scared. Okay, let's go map it out so you can visually see all the moving parts. All right, so let's go over here, pull up my lovely little chart here. So this looks crazy. It took me years and years of refinement to get to this point where I could actually map it out and just repeat the process. So you could take this and you could simply run a boot camp with this map right here. So it starts with kind of planning. That's step one. You're going to plan out what you're going to do, what you're going to offer, who you're going to target. Step two is basically setup. So you're going to set everything up. So all your assets, all your pages, all your ad campaigns, all your email sequences, all your technology side, you're going to set everything up so it's ready to go. And then step three is actually running the thing. So this is marketing the boot camp and then actually running it. So the actual implementation, everything is right before you on the screen right now. So it starts with the registration page. You can use programs like ClickFunnels if you want for this very easily. I use it on my own website just because I don't like paying. I think it's like $9.99 a month, $97 a month, or Lead Pages. You can use that too to create all this stuff. So I have a registration page, which goes to an email opt-in form, which then once somebody submits their name and email, it goes to Zapier. And this is an automation program, which will then put them onto my list, onto my MailChimp list. That's who I use for my emails. And it's going to tag them as they registered. It's also going to add them to my webinar, which I use GoToWebinar, but you can use Zoom if you want. I just like GoToWebinar. I'm old school. I got a great account. I think it's like $79 a month per 1,000 users. It's some special deal they had like 10 years ago, and I've had it for like 10 years. So Zoom you can use as well, same thing, and Zapier will connect with Zoom. So once all that happens, then the redirect goes to the thank you page, which says basically, thanks for registering, here's some homework, or thank you, go check out my YouTube channel, or whatever you want them to do on your thank you page. You could even try and sell them like a mini course or a Quickstart or a workshop or something on the thank you page as well if you wanted to monetize it that way. That is entirely possible. There's a lot of flexibility there. So now it comes time to run your free webinar. Your free webinar is what you're going to use to get people into your bootcamp. It's basically about an hour, and I've got a whole system I use for the webinar itself, which is based on Russell Brunson's perfect webinar script. And I've done so many iterations of this, it's insane over the years. So I've got slides, I've got everything all ready, and all I do is just edit my webinar slides, and then I'll present that on GoToWebinar. At the end, I'll make an offer on my webinar, and that will be for the bootcamp. So there's going to be a link that goes to the sales page. And on the sales page, there's a button that they can click that says join now or sign up or register, whatever, which goes to the checkout page. I use Thrivecart for my checkout because it's awesome. It's the most powerful one. And they're building in a whole bunch of stuff for course creators too, which is insane. It's basically a checkout system which will connect with PayPal and Stripe very nicely, and it allows you to do multiple things as well. With the new course section that they have, it'll actually add them to a course on Thrivecart directly, so there's no other integration that needs to happen. Works very, very well for the course creators out there. Now, once they check out, it goes to Zapier, which then tags them as a buyer. And as well, Zapier is then going to register them for the GoToWebinar sessions. Typically, I do 4 live training sessions. And then it will redirect them to a thank you page after they checked out. On this thank you page, it will remind them of when the bootcamp starts, where to go to the Facebook group, and I usually give them a password for the Facebook group on the thank you page. They only see this page if they buy. So it'll say, thanks for buying. Remember, the first session starts Friday at 11. Please go now to the dedicated Facebook group and join. Tell us the email you used to purchase, as well as the password, and the password that you'll just create. You'll say, password is bootcamps are awesome. And then when they go to the Facebook group and register, it'll pop up those questions, and it'll say, what email did you use to register? And then it'll say, bootcamps are awesome. And they enter that, or the email that they use for the payment processor, as well as the password. So Zapier will register them for all 4 sessions at once. So that's done. They're tagged as a buyer, so I can email them. They're in the Facebook group. Now we start. Week 1, we deliver the content. Week 2, we deliver the content. Week 3, we deliver the content. Week 4, we deliver the content. We don't wing the content. There is a huge difference between the content, the training sessions, and the actual free webinar. The free webinar is where you spend a lot of time telling people what, but you don't go into the exact how. Okay? On the training sessions, you're going into the exact how. So in my case, it's a lot of over the shoulder, where I'll use a program like GoToWebinar, and I'll share my screen. You can do it in Zoom as well. And GoToWebinar will automatically record my live training session, which people are on, and they can ask questions and interact as I'm going through my process. So I do plan out every week. So I say, okay, here's what I want to teach people. So week 1, we'll start with this. Week 2, we'll start with this. Week 3, we'll start with this. Week 4, we'll start with this. And I have it all mapped out on a Google Doc. So I'm not winging it. I'm not just going on there randomly and being like, okay, well, welcome to the first one. Got any questions? Like, no, that's not it. It's a whole process that you take them through, and you have to plan out the whole process, or you basically look like an amateur. So this is my whole system. Let's go back to the start here. Now, on the left-hand side, you can see all these icons. So you want to get people to register. So how do you do that? Well, if you have an Instagram account, you post it on there, which sends them to the registration page. Do you have a Pinterest board? You should. You should have all these, basically. Send them there. Twitter, send them there. Google Ads, you can run to send them there. If you have an email list, this is the #1 way to get people to register for your free webinar to put them into your bootcamp. Email list, if you have one, you're sitting on a gold mine right now. Legitimately sitting on a gold mine, no matter how big or small it is. You could just run webinars through your email list and make a very good living for the rest of your life. Okay. You can also run YouTube ads to get to them to register. You can run Facebook ads. You can post on Facebook groups. You can post on your own Facebook group. You can post on Facebook on your Facebook page. Then you can run organically. You can do YouTube videos. So maybe you have a channel, and on that channel, you're sending them to your registration page. You can use LinkedIn to send them to your registration page. The key here is we're trying to get them to opt in for the free webinar so that we can deliver a lot of value. And then who do people buy from? They buy from people they like, know, and trust. The free webinar establishes that for them. They'll like, know, and trust you. And then when it comes to the point where you're like, okay, which route do you want to take? Option 1 or option 2? Option 1 is like do it yourself. Option 2 is work with me. The odds of them working with you now after spending probably like an hour with you are really, really good compared to a complete stranger. So I hope this is very valuable to you. This is the system that I use time and time again. I just repeat and I just plug in all of the new stuff into this exact framework, and it works very, very well. Now there is some nitty gritty to each of these assets that we have to work, but I mean, I can't spend like 10 hours on this case study to show you all of those details right now. So let me just minimize this a bit. There we go. So, how cool is that, right? That is my proven system in a nutshell. And you could take that and you can go and run boot camps right after this if you wanted. You just got to figure out all the kind of nuances of each step. So, the next thing, what is next? Well, that is a very good question. You have two options now, and one is better than the other, I'll tell you. Option one is kind of the hard way. So you can go and you can do it yourself. Don't get any guidance. Go to YouTube, type in how to run a boot camp. I actually did that, and there's not really many guys out there doing it. I actually didn't find any. I think I'm going to be the king of boot camps because I've been doing them, and I love them, and I'm really good at them. So anyway, you'll struggle. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get bad advice. You're going to fail. You're going to quit. You're going to think, this route stinks. And honestly, I've taken this route before where I'm like, I don't need any help. I can do it myself because I'm smarter than him or her. You know, what the heck? I'll figure this out. I'll just reverse engineer everything. Believe me, I've been there. I've done that. And it's wasted more time than it was worth. Option two is the easy way. Now, can you guess what the easy way is? Let me help you. I've done this multiple times. I'm very good at it. From planning to setup to marketing to running every single asset in there, everything that you need, even the techie side. I'm really good at that too. To making the offer at the end. I'm an expert. So you can skip the learning curve and you can work with me directly. So I hope you got a lot of value. Please be nodding your head yes. The next level, do you want to take it there? Well, I can coach you one-on-one. Now, I know that a lot of programs out there, if you are a coach, you're like, oh, don't do that. Do a group program. Well, this is where I'm starting, is with one-on-one. Okay? So I can teach you and I can get you up and running quickly. Let's run some very quick numbers because I do love what if scenarios. Okay? So what if you get 10 people to join your bootcamp? Well, let's say you charge $19.97. That is $19,970 you'll make. That's low end. Okay? 10 people to join at that price is not difficult to do if you're good at what you do. Now, what if you get 25 people to join your bootcamp instead of 10? Well, all of a sudden, now we're talking. Now you charge $19.97, okay, for a 4-week bootcamp, which is totally reasonable. That's $49,925 you'll make. And I'm not pulling this out of my butt. I've done this recently. Okay, this happens. I have a list, and my list is they know me, they like me, and they trust me. And it's not hard for me to run a boot camp with 25 people in it at $2,000 a pop and make a really good, pull in really good revenue. But I am helping people too. And that's the key. If you're not helping people, you can't do this. Now, I know some of you are like, well, oh man, I don't want to charge that much. I want to charge way less. Okay, fine. I'm not going to fight you on it yet. So if you get 100 people to join at say $497, like $500. I don't know why we put sevens on the end of everything. We just do. Then that's $49,700 you'll make. This is 100% possible. Okay, instead of getting 10 people or 25 people, you're getting 100 because you're charging less. Now, as you do a couple boot camps time after time, you're going to be thinking, why did I only charge that much? I should have charged more. I know people would have bought. And honestly, the difference in numbers between people buying at a higher price is not that much. From 500 to like 2,000, it's not much at all. Okay, I wouldn't really run them for less. I mean, you could run a boot camp for $100, but you got to think it's all perception and it's all value. And if somebody pays $100 for something, they might be a little bit invested in it, but not really. They just don't really care. So they might not put the time, energy, and effort into it. Whereas somebody who pays $2,000 for something, they're going to be committed and they're going to be a great customer. And you're going to separate. You're going to have a better time running it. You're going to get better results because your clients are more committed, and it just works out better. So the pricing it on the higher end is always good. I've even priced them at $3,000 in the past, and it's worked. So don't be afraid to charge more. You could go even more than that. It depends on what you're offering and what you want to do and what your goals are. There's no right or wrong, black or white way to do it. If you want to charge less, charge less. I mean, I don't agree, but I think you should charge a healthy amount because you're worth it. Your time is worth it. Anyway, can you see the potential? And would this work for your business? I think so. I mean, if you're on here and you spent this much time with me, of course it would. So maybe, I think it can for any business, honestly. The perspective is if you made almost $50,000 on one boot camp and you run 4 of those, then now you're up to $200,000 a year. Okay. Would you run multiple? Maybe one per quarter? I'll tell you that's a good plan, a really good plan, because you spend basically 5-6 weeks working, and then you take about, I don't know, 8 weeks off, and then you spend 5-6 weeks working, and then you take about 8 weeks off. And when I say working, there's not much to running these because it's about an hour of your time, and there is some follow-up in the group and answering questions, but it's really a small time investment for the amount of money that you're going to get out of it. And if you run 4 of these a year, you've got a nice life. And you've got a lot of downtime in between that you can recharge, that you can go on vacation, that you can spend time with your family, that you can spend time with your partner, that you can spend time with your friends. And people will start asking, what the heck do you do for a living? Because I've had that happen too. And some people think I deal drugs, but I don't, because they never see me leave my house. They know I'm always here. They know I'm always picking up and dropping the kids off at school, because I've set up a lifestyle business where I can do that. That's what boot camps provide. Anyway, what would you pay to learn? $1? 500? 5,000? 10,000? I'm not cheap, but I'm very good at what I do, which is why I'm not cheap. So if you're interested, the next step is very simple. Email me. There's my email. contact@willhaimerl.com. Now, let me know the following. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you help? What your experience is? What you want to accomplish? I'll reply. I'll let you know my cost. I'll answer any questions you have. Were you expecting something? Now, I know the coaches who are watching this are like, oh man, you should have gone for a phone call right away. Well, most are trained to get you on the phone at this point and then hard sell you a high ticket program. I'm different. I do things differently, and I think that's why I succeed, because I certainly do listen to advice, and I certainly do pay for consulting and try to make the best possible programs I can, but honestly, I do things differently. So there's my email right there. If you have any questions, send me an email. This is a low risk, super easy. Everybody sends emails all day long. So I think that you sending me an email and telling me a bit about you will allow us to go forward. Then if you do want a phone call after that, I mean, fine. But I don't like doing phone calls out of the blue. And I'm sure you don't either. And I certainly don't like hard selling people on the phone, which is what a lot of those coaching programs teach people, and I can't stand that. So I'm different. Anyway, thanks for your time. Did you send that email yet? If you haven't, send it. contact@willhaimerl.com. I appreciate you. Have a great day, and hopefully we talk soon.